We're live. Hello. It is. It's an art stream. Hello, Alan Barr. Thank you for joining me. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Call. This is my YouTube channel. I'm going to work on a comic page. We started this one last week. This is a page from Prophets of Doom, issue 1, page 8. Prophets of Doom is written by Joseph Schmalke. It is being drawn by me. It will be coming out later this year. So this is one of the pages of issue 1 that I'm working on. We started this last week. I got all of the panels kind of roughed in, so I know more or less what's happening in all of them, and I started tightening up the pencils, getting those finished. I actually started this guy, like I got this guy done last week. I started this guy last week, and I did not like how he was coming out, so actually off stream, I erased him and did him over again because I did not like the way he was turning out. I'm much more satisfied with him now. But yeah, I just kind of needed to step away from it for a bit, concentrate, and be like, okay, what is happening here? So sometimes you gotta walk away and not be afraid to burn it all down and start over. Not quite, but anyway. Anyway, hello. How are folks doing this evening? Where is my pencil sharpener? There it is. I'm gonna try to sharpen my pencil without destroying it this evening. That's the challenge. How was everybody's weekend? My weekend was pretty good. I had free comic book day. Who went to free comic book day? I was at Galactic Comics in Bangor, Maine. It's a very small little shop because Bangor is a small little place, but they're like packed to the rafters with good stuff. It is always like amazing to me how much they managed to fit in that little shop. And especially right when they opened, oh man, it was pretty busy in there for a bit. But had a good day, and I gave out a bunch of Profits ash cans, got to chat with a bunch of folks. Generally had a very good time. All right, we've got the little cocktail napkins there. Beers are sitting on. I need to pull up my reference of what this guy's face looks like. Since I've only been working on this project for a little bit, I've only drawn these characters for like this is the first issue. I've only drawn these characters a handful of times, so I don't have like an intuitive sense of what they look like yet. I still have like some reference I'm using to base their faces off of. Oh, and I can hear the woodcock outside. No, I'm not being funny. I have a woodcock that lives in my backyard. He's been out there. It's a kind of ground bird, if you don't know, that we get out in the woods here. And they make this little like they're very funny. They're like little potatoes. They're just these little potato guys, but they have a really long beak and they like get bugs out of the ground. And so that's what they use the long beak for. But they kind of do this little like as they're going along the ground, they're just like doing this little dance like this. I do this little dance. You should look it up if you have never seen a video of a woodcock, also known as a timberdoodle. You should look them up. They're very funny. But during mating season, which it is right now, they just kind of sit outside all evening, basically from when the sun starts to go down to when the sun comes back up, and they just go screech periodically, like all night long. They just make this one little like screechy sound. That's it. That's what they do. That's apparently how they attract a lady timberdoodle. I have not closed the chickens. Is this live? It is live. Hello, Barney. How are you? Barney of Story Comic. Well, thanks. I'm glad you think it's the best. I don't know where this guy's other arm went. Where's his other arm? What's it doing? What's he doing with his other arm? I don't know. I don't know if I figured that out earlier and then in my like storm of erasing this other guy, it just got lost. You follow me on TikTok. Well, that's unfortunate. I haven't done anything with my TikTok in a very long time. I'm gonna say his hand is just kind of like perched there. He's just kind of hanging on to the edge of the table. So he's making this kind of goofy gesture. Hey, Hungry. Thanks so much for joining me. Yeah, I had stopped really like doing anything on TikTok long before we started this whole like, will they, won't they ban this app in the United States? And so by the time like I already was just kind of like, this is kind of a lot of work doing this whole making the videos thing. Uh Even just the little short form TikToks. I don't know. It was kind of neat for a little bit, but I got tired of it. And they, as with a lot of these different platforms, it's like keep making different types of content. Make short videos. I'm like, I don't have time for this, man. And so I'd kind of stopped really using it long before we started doing this whole, is this app even going to still be allowed in this country thing? And so I was like, well, now I'm super not interested in having anything to do with this. If we're going to be playing these games. This goober and his suspenders with no tie. It just looks like a goober. All right, where's the middle of this table, more or less? It goes from here to here. I think I need to scoot that over a little bit. That doesn't look very straight. Okay. Mostly just going to be in darkness anyway, but there's that. Joe Dunt says, "Hello. Hope you're doing good. I like the figures here. They look good. Thanks, Joe. Good to see you again." All right, we've got a little bit of suspender that you can see here. Yeah, you weren't here last week for my epic tale. I had a bunch of stupid medical stuff that I was dealing with. So between dealing with that and then having to like recover and then catch up on everything else, it was kind of like I'm not going to also worry about continuing to try to keep up with streaming right now. I'm going to let myself get back on track before I worry too much about that. And that's where I'm at now. I'm feeling a lot more caught up on things. So here we are. All right. Yeah, I feel I'm totally fine at this point. I made sure that I did not try to rush coming back to updating my comic or doing live streams or any of this other stuff because it's not like I have any shortage of other obligations that I also have to constantly keep up with while also doing this stuff. So totally good at this point. Let's see, we need just an extra back here. This scene is set in like 1991, so we're gonna give this lady like the big poofy perm hair. This is like a dive bar. We don't need to give her a ton of detail. She's just in the background. Great Film Dead says, "Do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome?" Only every day. I think that's a constant. That's this is just an everyday kind of situation. There's also I don't know what you would call it's almost like it's probably like related to imposter syndrome. I know it's part of the same thing of just like not having the confidence in where you fit in the all of the art creating world and your value and place in it and everything. But there's this other thing where it's like you're doubting yourself and you're like, "Oh, what if I'm not really that good? I'm kind of like I'm not that good. I'm like a fake or whatever." And then you see somebody else who's like as successful or more successful than you are, and they obviously are not on your level, and you're just like, "What? What?" And then you get like angry, and it's like this, "Well, I know I'm better than that. What the hell?" It's like I feel like that's like related, but it's a different thing. You're just like, "What is happening here? Am I delusional? Am I delusional in thinking that I'm as good as or better than this person? Why are they as successful or more successful than me? What is going on?" And I mean, the answer to that is that there's always a lot more to success than meets the eye. And also, just because you think somebody's successful doesn't mean that they're actually as successful as they are either. Like, people get some very funny assumptions about, like, what different things that they see, like, what that equates to as far as how successful or not you are, forgetting that, a lot of books get published and then nobody makes any money off of them. Advice for networking? I mean, continue to show up in as many places and ways that you can, but don't just make it like for one, okay, there's two different things. Networking's a two-way street. Sup, nerds? It's Mr. Alan Barr. So yeah, for one, networking is a two-way street. You don't just like people are not like opportunity vending machines that you just show up and you're like, ah, I put in FaceTime with you and now you know who I am, and so now I'm going to get something out of this. It's like, no, you're establishing a relationship, which means that, you have to be in some way reciprocating in this relationship, like whether that means that you're also helping to spread the word about other people's projects or buying their books or supporting them or whatever else. And, not just being like, ah, yes, I have now met person. And now that is going to somehow equate to thing for me. It's like, no, you're fostering a relationship. It's not just like, what can you get out of it? It's connecting with other people in helping them, helping you, sharing resources with each other. A lot of times it's not even like a direct helping thing. It's like, "Hey, did you hear about this?" "Oh, I heard about this cool new project that is happening. You should also go check it out and see if it's a good fit for you," or whatever. It's more than just like I feel like sometimes people talk about networking and they're really just talking about trying to use other people for their own advancement and not necessarily like treating it like just, fostering professional relationships, I guess. I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, so that's part of it is remember that it's not just about what you can get out of it. It's about a whole relationship that should be mutually beneficial for everybody. Um, and the kind of thing that goes off of that is also like kind of comes organically from that, which is don't be weird about it. Like, don't come up to people and just be like making it obvious that you're just trying to establish yourself for no other reason than to have some kind of like arrangement that is beneficial for yourself. So you can definitely go up to people and be like, "Hey, yeah, that totally makes sense. Not having difficulty with things without structure. I totally understand that. That can be very difficult. But introducing yourself, just being like, "Oh, hey, I really like your work. I think this is really cool. This thing that you do." And like having a genuine conversation about that, about like, "Oh, is this your new project? I saw you promoting it. It looks really neat," etc. Oh yeah, I gotta look up if I drew the wedge backwards. I talk about imposter syndrome. What does a wedge amplifier look like? Uh, no, yeah, they look like that. Okay. I don't know why I thought for a second that I was drawing them backwards. I mean, they can look a bunch of different ways, obviously, but this is fine. They can look the way that I've drawn them. Okay. Just made me feel like I was losing my mind. I'm just like, "Wait, is that the direction the wedge goes?" It can. It can look like that. It can look other ways too, but it can look like that. Yeah, no, I do know actually. Like that's part of why I was like, "What? Why can't I think of this?" So this is actually kind of really fun working on the background here is that so we have this scene takes place in a try not to throw my erasers around. This scene takes place in a bar. The Crossroads Honky Tonk. Uh and the band one of the band members, this guy back here is actually one of the main characters of the comic. This is where he meets these guys who are some of the other main characters. Um but part of what is fun about this for me is that my dad was always a rock musician when I was a kid. He kind of got out of it around my teenage years, so it was more when I was like a younger kid. Um, so I grew up around rock musicians and he was always in bar bands, and so I'm actually really familiar with a lot of this like equipment because even after he got out of it when I was a teenager, it was still like around our house all the time and he would still like practice and I learned how to play guitar. I My sisters and I would sometimes play together. Like I'd play guitar and my middle sister would play bass. My youngest sister would play drums. But we never really like pursued it seriously. We just kind of noodled around some. Um, yeah, it was fun. My dad was not a good teacher. Continues to not be a good teacher, so I didn't really like learn guitar from him. More or less I was more or less self-taught, but it was fine. I at least got the exposure to like a lot of this kind of stuff, but also because of that, the bass player and the drummer in this band in the background here who do not appear past this scene basically and are just like extras in this scene. I'm having them look like my dad, who was the bass player in the band he was in, and my uncle. Well, uncle, he was a non-familial uncle, guy that we called our uncle, who was the drummer. So I thought that would be fun. I'm gonna have my dad and Uncle Jim in there as the bass player and the drummer. All right, where did I need to find my other page and see where I put some of this stuff. It's on the stage. All right. His mic stand needs to be over here somewhere. What is that? That's not an ellipse. But anyway, to finish what I was saying earlier, yeah, if you just start a conversation with someone that's genuine about like what you admire about their work or think is cool about their work, and if it doesn't organically turn into like a, oh cool, do you do stuff like this too? You can always just be like, hey, uh I also am, a comic artist or whatever it is, whatever else it is that you do, illustrator, what have you, writer, any of that stuff. Um, can I give you my card? And if they're like, yeah, sure. Like I mean, usually people will be like, yeah, sure. If they're like, no, then okay, well, that's weird. That's a weird off-putting thing to do. But, you know, it's totally okay to just be like, hey, can I give you my card or anything like that, to just kind of like open that door of like, that definitely works better in person. Online, it's a lot harder because people get spammed so much, like so much by people that aren't even actual people, by bots, by scammers. Like it's so much harder online because there is just like so much noise online. I gotta move him back a little bit. And what was the name of the band? So the my dad was in a ton of different bands. The one that he was in when I was a kid, well, it went through two iterations. The first iteration was called Crusher Red. This was in Connecticut, so in like the 90s. And then they kind of like semi broke up, and the majority of the band got back together, but like with a few differences. And then at that point, they were called Similar Features because at that point, they were mostly covering Melissa Etheridge songs, and that was one of her big hits. So I need to sharpen my pencil again. I'm doing this itty bitty little guy, and my pencil is not sharp enough to do an itty bitty guy. All right, we've got Robbie's in the background here tuning up his guitar. It is not non-photo blue. This is what is sometimes called layout blue. Um, I used to get it in. Do I have one handy? I used to buy a ton of these guys, the Prismacolor Kohl Erase 20044. Unfortunately, at some point, the quality on these kind of went down. The wood ended up being, I still have a whole case of them. I have like a whole box of them I haven't used because I got so frustrated using them, and I'll eventually use it up. But the wood ended up being kind of poor quality, and the pigments, it would like, I don't know if they just, the pigment quality went down or if the like, I got a bad shipment where somebody just threw them down the stairs, but the pigment would be like shattered all the way inside of the pencil. And so you'd be sharpening it, and every time you started to get a new point, it would just like fall off. Very frustrating. So I kind of gave up on getting them this way, but it's pretty much the exact same color blue as what I've been using since then, which is when I gave up on buying them as pencils, which is the Stedler Mars Lumograph blue. Um, and so these guys, it's a 2 millimeter lead, and so it fits in your standard mechanical drafting pencil holder. The only place I found to reliably get these online is Jet Pens. They're not badly priced because that whole thing, it's since it's all pigment, it lasts quite a while. You're not like shaving a bunch of it off by trying to shave wood out of the way as well. You can just kind of hone the point with the little lead pointer, and you don't waste an awful lot of it, which is nice. Yeah, and I'm not chewing through a ton of wood. I'm not throwing away a bunch of erasers and little metal caps and everything. So that's good. It is less wasteful. I don't use non-photo blue, partially because that's not a real thing anymore. Scanners are too good. They pick up non-photo blue. It's not like old photography equipment or old photocopiers that couldn't see them anymore. Your digital cameras and scanners at this point can pick up non-photo blue. And non-photo blue like wrecked my eyes when I used it in college. Like I had gone to, I'm sorry for folks that have been on the stream and have heard this story many times before already. But anyway, I had gone to the eye doctor when I was like in high school, and they were like, yeah, you're a little bit farsighted. You'll probably need reading glasses when you're like 40. And then I went to art school and I started using non-photo blue pencils all the time. And then I needed reading glasses when I was like 20 because non-photo blue pencils absolutely destroyed my eyes. It just did not want to do it. I would get such raging headaches after working with those. All right. Yeah, because it's so light. It's light, and it's, yeah, because it is so light and difficult to see. Um doesn't contrast enough with the paper, and so I'd be really like straining to try to focus on it. All right, I've got this drummer back here. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I like to do with this channel here. Always happy to answer questions about what I'm doing. What is this shape? What are you doing, Amanda? Thanks, Alan. Barney asks you answer questions you are doing from an art perspective or philosophically speaking. I mean, I could take a stab at philosophy. You probably would not find that as interesting, but I don't know, maybe you would, or you might just be like, "What is wrong with this person?" Oh no. Uh-oh. We've activated Alan's trap card. Cracks open the degree and dusts off the domes. What's your favorite Alan Barr game? Oh no, he says, ew, no, no, but I love Alan Barr games. I have a hard time picking one. I like all the Tiny D6 games. Those are all really fun. I still haven't gotten a chance to because I don't have like time. I haven't gotten a chance to play Siege Perilous yet, but I still really really want to because it looks so cool. I love the like I read through the whole thing and I did some artwork for it, but that's not why I like it. I like it. All the other artwork that's in it is gorgeous and I love the concept of it and I really want to actually get a chance to sit down and play a game. It's a solo game. I just haven't gotten a chance to do it yet because I never have any free time. Although yes, I really love Beach Patrol too because it's just ridiculous. Because how can you not love Beach Patrol? Come on. Okay, yeah, this guy back here is like taking a sip of his drink before they start playing. Why do instruments have to have such weird shapes? Yeah, yeah, that's a Fender P. Because if it's my dad playing bass, it's gotta be a Fender P. He'd be upset if it wasn't. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Alan. Thanks so much for coming by. Always good to have you. Ah, okay, there goes my pencil. All right, taking a sip of his beer before the show starts. Jeez, okay, fine, Barney. Oh, you guys are funny. I appreciate everybody stopping by for whatever amount of time they want to or are able to. It's all good. Every little bit of it is appreciated. Oh, where's the freaking plug on this thing? It's right here. All right, we've got the edge of the stage. We've got the dark corner over here. Dark corner. There we go. Oh my gosh, have we finally gotten somewhere on the first panel? Unbelievable. you don't you don't have to, Barney, but I appreciate it. I mean, it's not like it's that much longer anyway. We've got it's 30 we're 38 minutes into the stream. We've got like 20ish minutes left. Cuz I usually only do this for about an hour cuz then I'm going to want to get up and stretch and y'all should do the same. When I roughed in these glasses, they were not really the right size and proportion for pint glasses. So we're trying to fix that now. That's more like it. Oh, I gotta fix this guy's gesture. He's supposed to be like doing stuff with his hands. Where's the edge of this table? Might be important to know. That's the edge of the table. Okay. This guy in his great big glasses and his little goofy chin. And it's like I always want to draw his glasses like a reasonable size, and it's like no, these are early '90s mega glasses. They need to be enormous. They need to be unreasonably large. Big bald head. All right, let's see if he's fidgeting. He's like nervously fidgeting. So he's like tearing a napkin apart. So this is it's kind of like this gesture. His other hand is also going to be doing something like this, except it's left. Because he is not sure what to make of this meeting that he is having with these other guys. And he's just kind of an awkward goober, so I was like, he should be doing something with his hands. He's going to be shredding his napkin. I think actually his pinky's going to be like up out of the way while he's doing this weirdo thing of shredding his napkin. There we go. Fun. That was way more effort than was probably necessary for just this goofy little thing for his character to be doing. Okay. Okay. And let's see, where am I going next? Do, 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 do. Okay, now that drink looks like enormous compared to him. That that's like, is this a pint or is it what are we doing a big gulp here? Like what is happening? It's like the proportion was the problem, not the height. Was it was too thick. It needs to be skinnier. That's a little bit better. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. Now I've been focusing very hard trying to get this silly little napkin shredding gesture correct. But now we have come to the last 10ish minutes of the stream, which means it's time for me to do the YouTube things slash announcements and reminders and what have you. I'm Amanda Call. This is my YouTube channel. I do these art streams. I've finally started doing these art streams again, just about every Tuesday at 9 or at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, what have you, from 8 to 9 Eastern. Planning on continuing to make this a thing again for the foreseeable future. So if you like watching me work on art, specifically comics, then you should subscribe and like the videos and stuff and tell people about it and all that good stuff, all of the things, all of the YouTube things. The comic that I am working on here this evening is called Prophets of Doom. It is written by Joseph Schmalke. It is drawn by me. We just released an ash can previewing it in for Free Comic Book Day this past weekend. There will be copies of that available on our own websites. So on my website, on Joe's website soon. Like the leftover ones that we didn't give away for Free Comic Book Day. We're going to be trying to find homes for those because we want people to see this comic that we're working on. Speaking of other comics that I work on, I also have my webcomic Age of Night, which is also updating again. That is on ageofnight.com. That's ageofnight.com. That updates with a new comic page every Wednesday. And if you would also like to support me making comics, get Age of Night comics early, get more previews of Prophets of Doom as I am working on it, you can sign up for my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Age of Night, spelled the same as the comic. Patrons all of my paid patrons get their Age of Night comics a week early. And you get other cool, like, behind the scenes stuff, like previews of Prophets of Doom and other cool stuff. And you get free comics just for signing up, which is also very nice. You can find me on various social medias as Amanda Call Art or Age of Night, depending on which platform it is. These days, I'm pretty much only active on Blue Sky and Instagram, but depending on what kind of fresh horrors the different platforms give us, that may change in the future. We'll see. All right, we've got cotton kind of roughed in here. We've got Wickle nice and penciled in. We finished our first panel, so that's good. We're making progress. Yeah, so I think that's going to be a good stopping point for this evening. We will continue this next week. Hopefully, I'll actually get close to being done with this page. Drawing this page anyway next week. I promise I am making more progress on a lot more pages. This is just the one I've selected out to work on stream, but doesn't mean I'm working on all of them at the same pace. I promise you. There's more happening faster in the background. But anyway, this is going to do it for this evening, and thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I will see you all next week. Bye.